Welcome to the DraftKings Daily Trot. I'm Jason Gilbo at JGilbo11. With me is Russell Clay at Russell J. Clay. Taking a look at tonight's 10-game Monday slate here, and decent-sized slate, and kind of a lot of different hitting options and ways you can go here.
Yeah, a lot of different ways you can go pretty much everywhere tonight, including pitching. It's wide open, 10 games, so it's kind of in between the huge monstrous slate and the little slates. So I actually kind of like this quite a bit.
Yeah, I do too. I think that 8 to 10 game range is kind of that perfect size.
Yeah, definitely. Once you get to 15, you're like, all right, there's like 20 options at each position. How do I optimize this for myself? And then you always miss one guy. And with 10, I feel like you can do it. You can do it, guys.
Looking at catcher here, and Salvador Perez back in the lineup. He was red hot before before going down with the injury, but 4,800 for a catcher isn't exactly optimal, even though the Royals are in a good spot there.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Yeah, no, I like him. I think while the Royals aren't in a perfect spot, I do think they have some solid options based on their value. Obviously, Perez is super expensive for a catcher, but some of the other guys on that team are pretty solid values. So, I mean, if you want to throw in a sort of contrarian Royal stack, I'm in.
Mhm. Yeah, I just think 4,800 is the little steep. I was hoping kind of Perez would still be in that high threes,
Yeah.
at most there.
Right. Yeah, no. He's not someone I'm necessarily looking at, but I do think there are some decent values in that lineup.
Yeah. In that same game, Matt Wieters had the day off yesterday, should be back in the lineup, facing Danny Duffy, who's pitched well the pen this year, but I like Wieters here in this spot. He's hitting pretty well this season. In the past, he's hit lefties fairly well, so I don't mind the price tag. I don't think you're really going to be crunched for salary tonight, so I don't think you need to really dive all the way down all the time.
Right. Yeah, no, I like him. I think Brian McCann, if he's back, then we're good with that. And I also like Tyler Flowers. I'm not trusting Christian Friedrich, so I think there's some one-offs in that Braves lineup.
Yeah, it's funny. The battle of the two worst offenses are going up, and it would just
Yeah.
be funny if we just saw that both those teams just erupted for the most runs all year.
Or most likely we see like 4 total hits, but I'm hoping one of them's Flowers and it's like a double. So I think he's a cool one-off at his price.
Yeah, I do too. Looking at that Houston Texas game, Colby Lewis has been holding teams at bay this season, but you look in the past, 343 WOBA allowed. There's nothing about these numbers that he's had this year that's sustainable to me. I don't
Hmm.
mind a cheap play like Jason Castro as far as a GPP option. Um, you know, Decent ballpark there. Houston's starting to come around with the bats, and I think this time through, last time I was all over Houston against Colby Lewis, and I believe they only scored 1 or 2 runs, but this time I'm expecting them to be a little bit different.
Yeah, again, if anything, that last time makes this time it makes the odds better because Kobe Lewis is not a strong arm. So I think this is a good bet for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Anyone else you're looking at?
Again, I think below this, you might as well just go beyond Tyler Flowers. You might as well just go all the way down and wait for that 2,300 to 2,500 catcher pop up. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Yan Gomes, 2,500. Probably
yeah,
could be that guy getting a lefty there in Seattle.
yeah, I like that call.
So not a good ballpark, but at that price, you kind of gotta shrug that off anyway. It's not that big
Hmm.
of a deal.
You just YOLO it and just
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
First base here, and I'm liking the Cubs offense again, and I feel comfortable paying up for Rizzo. Once again, there was a numerous amount of people that had the day off yesterday, and Rizzo was one of them. His hit lefties well, starting to heat up again, so you look at this Cubs offense, and you're expecting to do some damage yet again against Philly.
Yeah, let's hope so. That wasn't fun yesterday. We were pretty excited about him and then yeah. But yeah, and I definitely like him over Goldschmidt's matchup with Archer. I might be targeting the Diamondbacks tomorrow or tonight. So I'm not necessarily in on Goldschmidt. Mike Napoli. I don't know that I'm going to play him today, but he is streaking right now.
6 homers in the last 10.
Jesus. I I wouldn't knock you playing him, but I don't expect this to continue like he's doing. So I do like Cleveland. I guess you can throw him in there, but this might be a day where you kind of fade him.
Yeah, I think so at the price tag. I mean, you look at
Yeah.
who you got below. I mean, you got Encarnacion, you got Miguel Cabrera lower than him.
And
Um,
then you can pay for Santana at 31 instead. So I think that's kind of the move if you can.
yeah, it's intriguing. There's a lot of intriguing options, and um, yeah, I mean, you're kind of looking. I mean, you got Adrian Gonzalez at 33, and then you got Eric Hosmer at 34. This is kind of be a night where I think, building multiple lineups, you're kind of going to be hedging a little bit down low because, I mean, those are some great values and good spots there.
The Hosmer one's still weird. Like he's still down there just chilling. So I don't know. It's like it was so automatic last time and then he went 0 for 4. But
Yeah.
he's
In
batting
Baltimore, though,
he's batting 320 this year. Like it's not like he's bad. And he's in like that cheap bad range. Adrian Gonzalez deserves to be there. He's been doomed to that because of his play, but Hosmer's been good this year, so I definitely like that play again.
yeah, and pricing's supposed to be based on the matchup, and Mike Wright is allowing a 4.12 WOBA to lefties with a 1.77 home run per nine. So,
Right.
Hosmer kind of stands out in really points per dollar range. I'm
Yeah.
liking that quite a bit. I mean, I think there are a number of ways you can go at first base, but you don't have to feel totally inclined to pay up all the way.
Yeah. And then I think as a one off, Chris Davis, Baltimore, kind of in on them again.
Yeah, I am too. I mean, he has decent numbers against lefties. I mean, over 200 ISO, so intriguing GPP option. I think
He's
guys
gonna
like,
strike out. He'll get at least one strikeout, probably two. But I mean, the home runs there, and 4K is not too bad. So tournament guy, I think it's all right.
yeah. And a guy I'll talk about at second base is Steve Pearce at 3,500. I'm looking at this Rays team. I mean, they're in Chase Field against a lefty. I mean, they got some value right-handed bats in that lineup that they can feel pretty good about it.
For sure.
So, thoughts on that Cabrera Encarnacion? I mean, range 43, 4,100.
Um, Will Myers still chilling there. That's surprising. I'm not afraid of Hap, honestly. I like Cabrera. I like the Tigers, but in terms of that, I think I'd rather just go up to Rizzo, in that range, or Victor Martinez being more expensive than Cabrera is a little weird to me. But yeah, I'd rather just pay down or go to Rizzo.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I can see. I like Rizzo a lot. I mean, one, he's shown a little bit more upside than Cabrera has this year. Um, and I don't know. I mean, Victor Martinez, I mean, is hit well from the right side, and you look. I mean, he's crushing the ball. So I don't necessarily mind him. I think it's always tough on DK because you have Miguel Cabrera and Victor Martinez at the same position. Like you want to play them in the stack together, but you can't, which kind of always it
It's such a
irritates me.
drag.
Yeah.
It's such a drag, yeah. But yeah, same with the Red Sox. I mean, two awesome stackable offenses that you just got to struggle city with. Although it's good that Hanley just decides not to ever hit home runs anymore, so it never kills you. But
Yeah, or just hit in general.
oh man.
Look at second base, and this is a spot where you can pay up on tonight's slate just because, one, there aren't a ton of expensive pitching options really outside of Matz and Lesser that you feel good about. There's some decent value everywhere else. I like Zobrist here at 5,200. One, I mean, he's been hitting the ball well, has hit lefties well in the past. Look at Morgan. I mean, 361 WOBA allowed to right-handers, 1.74 home runs per nine. Zobrist kind of comes in as that range there, but I don't mind Cano as well.
Yeah, and that's interesting because I prefer Altuve tonight. I think in the middle there. So I think I think Houston's a very stackable lineup tonight, and Altuve is pretty much leading the way for me. I think he's going to have a good night. So, and also we will say Hanley does lead the league in like missing swings and then having his hat fall off or his batting helmet fall off. Like he definitely is good at that.
Oh yeah, I mean, if we got fantasy points for that, he would be like 6,200 on DK.
It like how does that happen to him? I don't see it happen to anyone else. But
I don't know. It used to happen to Manny all the time. It's the dreads, man. It's the dreads.
oh, okay, yeah, that's probably true. It is wild. Um, Gene Secura, I like that price, but again, I don't think I'm targeting Diamondbacks tonight. So I love him, but I don't think I can do that tonight.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that you're looking at. I mean, Chase Field's been extremely well, and the Diamondbacks have hit pretty well in Chase Field. But I'm kind of with you. I mean, I'm not completely sold on them against Archer. I mean, I can also see it completely going the other way.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Diamondbacks are kind of a contrarian GPP multiple lineup type stack and nothing more.
Yeah.
As far as one-offs, I can't really get behind them for going that way.
Right. Yeah, no, and I mean it's gonna go how Archer goes, which is usually either dominant or just bad. So I think we'll find out pretty early on, and your lineups will rise or fall very quickly. So, but I do think he has a pretty decent shot at a good start here. So I'm not touching them.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, I like Odor again tonight. I like Whit Merrifield. I mean, 4,100. I mean, those aren't bad prices for guys that have hit pretty well of late, especially Merrifield. I mean, Odor's coming back off the suspension there. So second baseman
Punch.
relatively all over the place here.
Yeah, no Josh Harrison against Mats. Profar's still in there. He's
Oh yeah.
chilling. We're gonna keep using him, obviously. Um, DJ LeMahieu, 3,400. If he's in the lineup, solid option there.
Yeah, I'm not afraid of that matchup there with the Rockies. I think Bolsinger's, I mean, relatively average arm, and even though the Rockies bats are outside of core, is certainly in play.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm with you there. Steve Pearce, 3,500, a guy who just mashes left-handed pitching. Once again, I mean, you have the luxury of him playing at third base or at second base, so I do like him here more than I do so on FanDuel where he's first base. You look at Ray, I mean, 356 WOBA allowed over the last two seasons to righties, 38% hard ball rate, which is insane. So I think you can look at some of these Rays bats and feel really good about them as far as one-offs and just kind of building a stack around them.
Yeah, we'll get to one of the guys in a minute here, but I was really looking at him hard as one of the top options. Starlin Castro, I'm not afraid of Schumacher. He makes shoes. He shouldn't be a professional baseball pitcher. No, he's all right. He's actually had a few good starts here now, but I'm not afraid of him. So Starlin Castro, someone I'm looking at, 3,100.
Yeah, you're looking in Yankee Stadium against a home run prone pitcher who,
Yeah.
yes, I mean, he's been better this year, but still, I mean, we know what he can do in his blow up potential. So I do like the Yankees as kind of a contrarian move. I mean, they're not going to be my first option or second, but I think contrarian one offs aren't a bad idea there.
Yeah, and obviously Castro isn't the guy you're looking for to hit a home run, but he does have some solid splits against him. So
Yeah,
I
and
think
it's
that's a
better
good option.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Third base, and I mean, you got kind of a couple options you can go with here. And I mean, top three guys are all facing left-handers: Bryant, Longoria, Machado, all in favorable ballparks. So
Yeah.
it's tough here, and I think I like Evan Longoria out of the group at
Hmm.
5,100 if I'm paying up. I mean, coming off 2 homers yesterday, 6 homers in the last 10, hitting over 400. Chase Field, better ballpark there for me than Chris Bryant in Citizens Bank, but I like Machado as well, but more of a reverse splits guy. So Longoria just kind of carries the way, I think, up top there.
That's who I was looking at. I think you got to take a long, hard look at Longoria tonight before you actually fade him. I don't know that you can expect another home run tonight because he's just put up so many. Unless he's gonna do a Barry Bonds month where he goes for like 17 homers, but I, I think he's the top option here. Even though I do like Bryant, I think I'm going with Longoria as my top option here.
Yeah, me too. I think standalone wise, it's Longoria for me. Stack wise, I like the Rays. But I think, Bryant and Machado are also in play if you're looking to be different. And then, I mean, you got some guys that are down low. Nolan Arenado against Bolsinger. I don't hate that at 4,500. And
Hmm.
same with Donaldson against Fulmer. I mean, Fulmer's starting to pitch better, but you're looking at his opponents and who he's faced. I mean, it's not above average guys. And Fulmer's still allowing a 3.32 WOBA to righties and a 1.96 home runs per nine. Donaldson at that price tag of 4,200 is pretty cheap.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Jose Ramirez, I think you're kind of looking at some decent options there for sure.
Yeah, you can kind of go a lot of different ways, and I think this is a spot where I'm kind of just more inclined to pay up at.
Hmm.
One guy I do like, Javier Baez. I mean, we talked about him yesterday against the lefty, hit a homer, and at that price tag again, I think you can look that way, just because he has hit lefties so well this season. He's cut the strikeout rate down. I would probably use him at shortstop where he's eligible at
Hmm.
over the third base, but I still think he's certainly in play.
Right. Yeah, no. I actually had him in the cheat sheet, so I'm kind of looking at him as a decent value for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Shortstop here. Finally, Carlos Correa is priced up over 4K,
Mm.
but still quite not the high spot that you don't feel, a little bit uneasy. But here he goes. I mean, he's continuing to hit well. Um, it's tough because Francisco Lindor is a little cheaper, and he's hit lefties extremely well this season. But obviously, I think the matchup with Kobe Lewis in that ballpark, I think I might spin up and just kind of go Correa if I'm going the top option.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that's who I'm looking at, and I mean, again, Machado always in play, but I think I'm more looking in a different direction there. As I mentioned, uh, Alcides Escobar 3,600. I think that's a pretty solid value. If you're looking at that kind of range.
Yeah, I definitely do too. And I mean, we can't ignore Corey Seager as well, who's, you know, basically we're watching Alex Rodriguez at shortstop with the Texas Rangers with Seager here, just crushing homers left and right. I mean, you look at that Atlanta series 5 in 3 games. I mean, 3 in the first game of that series and 2 last night. Um, Tyler
Yeah.
Chatwood's been fairly tough on lefties, but I still think Seager's. I'm curious about how his ownership's going to play out if people are expecting this to continue. Um, I'll have my shares. I mean, with how hot he's been.
I think we saw with Mookie Betts when he sort of was doing his thing, pretty similar to this the other week there. It affects ownership percentages, whether people want to admit it or not. It actually kind of makes me want to fade him because I don't think he's just going to continue on this pace. But I mean, at the same time, it's like, well, this guy hits home runs, so I guess we should throw him in there. But decent matchup, not great. 4,200. That's not killing you either. So he can definitely make your way into lineups for sure.
Yeah, and I think you do have some spin down options. I mean, we talked about Bays, Escobar, Profar, 3,300 if he's in the lineup, which he should be with the way he's hitting. The offense has looked much better with him in it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think once again, I mean, shortstop, you got a wide range here, just like the other positions of paying up or you can kind of spin down all the way. I feel really comfortable kind of in any direction there.
Yeah, and Gregorio Pettit not in a great spot against Tanaka, but he's only 2,400. So that's kind of been my cheap punk guy I've been going to lately at short. We'll see if he can keep it going. But yeah, someone to look at.
Mm. Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you need a punt look, there's some guys down there.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at outfield here, and I mean, obviously, you kind of like a lot of these top guys there. Trumbo against the lefty in Baltimore, something that's been pretty much a lock. I mean, outside of yesterday, 5,400 is a little steep, but obviously he's certainly in play again.
Absolutely in play. I don't think this has been pretty consistent for a while now, what he's been doing. So I think we can trust this at this point and even pay that big price tag. Sort of, I think he has a pretty high floor.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I mean, Adam Jones isn't quite the discount like he was yesterday, but 4,800, I
Mhm.
think those Baltimore righties are in play. Um, I like Lorenzo Cain. I mean, you look at Mike Wright, he's not that great of a pitcher. And I do like these Royals bats quite a bit in that ballpark. I think you're going to see a lot of upside. And you're kind of hoping Cain was cheaper, kind of like some of the other guys there. I'm not sure if there's a flaw in Eric Hosmer's pricing, but
Yeah. Right.
you know, they're kind of more of a GPP team for me when you're paying up that high.
Yeah, I'm with you. And again, I think these Rangers outfielders intrigue me. Desmond might be a little too expensive, but I'm more looking at Mazzara here. He's super cheap, so I think
Yeah,
that's what I'm looking at. But Desmond, that's a tough price range for him to pay off, but I'm not against him in a stack at least.
no, definitely not. I agree, and that kind of goes to the same thing with a lot of those guys. I mean, I like Cargo, 4,900. I think he's a sneaky play. Um, I think he's going to have lower ownership, even coming off a two-homer game. I don't think a lot of people are going to be on the Rockies, and I could even
Mhm.
see someone just tossing in Bolsinger as a cheap SB2 here actually tonight.
Yeah, that could be intriguing for sure.
So, yeah, I like the Mazzara range. I like JD Martinez there. Um, it, the Pirates' right-handed bats here. I mean, we haven't talked about them, and I don't think we will as plays. I think it's just kind of a void situation against Mats. One, I mean, they're banged
Yeah.
up, and it's in a good ballpark, and I'm expecting Mats to just kind of have a solid game and get a guys that aren't going to pay off these price tags.
Yeah, I'm turning into a big Mats guy. Even after the last start, I like his game. So I kind of expect him to roll through this lineup, but that remains to be seen. But yeah, him and Lester are pretty much the cash options tonight.
Yeah, definitely. And your boy Cameron Maben, 3,500 against J. Happ. I mean, hitting the top half of the lineup. You got to like him a lot at that price tag, 3,500.
Hey, you know what? Still over 400. Ted Williams, watch out, pal. He may not qualify for what a season number of at bats is, but he's coming for you, Ted.
Much like the other positions here, I mean, you can kind of look and feel pretty good. I mean, Rajai Davis gets a lefty there, 3,200. You don't like the ballpark for these Indians bats, but I think they are playable in the matchup, and especially at some of their price tags, I definitely don't mind them.
Yeah, they're definitely in play. The price is solid, so I think you can just go there and not be worried about the rest of your lineup and having to pay fully down. So yeah, I like that call.
Yeah, and I mean, Mickey Matuk, I mean, going to get a lefty 3,200, probably lead off with Geyer out for sure now. I mean, if you need a cheap play, I mean, the more I'm digging into the slate, the more I like it because I just like the range that you can go. I mean, you have your top plays, and then you have guys in the low 3,000 that you feel comfortable using.
Right. And one cheap bat for Cleveland is Tyler Naquin. He's actually been hitting pretty well lately, and he's way down in the lineup in terms of prices, you know. He's like one of the cheapest guys on the lineup. So not facing too scary of an arm, 2,800. Give me that in the outfield.
Yeah, I mean, you can definitely go that route and feel pretty comfortable about it.
Hmm.
Um, as far as more mid-range guys, I mean, I think you can look at some of these Yankees bats as far as GPPs go, like Ellsbury and Gardner. Bautista at 3,900, something I'm intrigued with. I mean, obviously it's kind of the Toronto bats are sort of boomer bust at this point. And as you've been talking about this before, the stacks haven't paid off with them, but the one-offs have if you can
Yeah.
get the right guy.
Right, exactly. And it's weird how it works out, but it's like the same thing every day. I mean, the power is there for all of them, but they all just mix and match it perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like yesterday. I mean, you saw Bautista and Encarnacion do well, but Donaldson didn't. You know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
getting the right guys, and unfortunately, they're all in the right spot. So you just kind of figure you look out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's gonna wrap things up here with the DK Daily Trot. Be sure to check out the fantasycafe.com for all our great tools and content.